teams to do so, which means that rookie quarterback Caleb Williams will start to get reps with his squad very soon. Yesterday, our very own Booger McFarland said, don't be surprised if midway through the season, we're having a conversation very similar to what we had last year, meaning the number 2 pick, Jayden Daniels, looks better than the number 1 pick, Caleb Williams, just like we had last year with C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young. Harry, I'm going to start with you here. Who do you think will be the best rookie quarterback? Williams, or do you think Williams will be the best rookie quarterback?
I firmly do believe he is, and I think a lot of this is going to have to do with his offensive coordinator, Shane Waldron. And Shane Waldron is the same guy that was the offensive coordinator for Geno Smith. Remember, they wrote me off, I didn't write back. The line that we all remember from Geno Smith after he was able to have a phenomenal season passing for over 4,000 yards. But the reason why I say a lot of this is going to be on Shane Waldron as the offensive coordinator is because I firmly believe you cannot go into a season and say, you know what, Caleb Williams threw the football all around at the collegiate level. The NFL doesn't work like that unless you have a Patrick Mahomes. But we did see that Patrick Mahomes at some point needed to rely on his run game. So I think from a balance standpoint, his offensive coordinator has to make sure that he's balanced, so that offense is balanced, and he plays an integral part in Caleb Williams and his growth. So I think Caleb Williams is going to be able to do this because also he's surrounded by the pieces. And I'm going to give Ryan Poles, their general manager, a lot of credit for being able to surround him around 3 number 1 wide receivers. They're 3 deep at the running back position. They're 2 deep at the tight end position. Their O-line is going to be better. They made some upgrades in those regards as well. So I think if you have the right mindset, which I believe Shane Waldron will have as the OC for Caleb Williams, he's going to have a phenomenal year. Now, what does that year look like? I'm not saying it's going to be sit up there and it's going to be a C.J. Stroud, type of year, because we can't sit up here and act like the year that C.J. Stroud had is easy to have. It's not like kids going to the candy store buying M&Ms and you can walk around and have a year like that. But it's a potential. It's a possibility it could be that if things are taken in the proper way, if things start off right. I don't think throwing the football 40, 50 times a game is the proper way to start off Caleb Williams in his NFL career.
Yeah, taking nothing away from Caleb Williams, guys, I'm going to go with Jayden Daniels, not just because it's RC Day and he went to LSU.
Love Jayden.
Yeah, but I will say I think Adam Peters, the general manager of the Commanders, and Dan Quinn have done a great job. I think what we've seen with Dan Quinn in his career is consistently that defense is going to play really good. And I think the way they're going to manage the game, Jayden Daniels really just has to play point guard. And I think while taking nothing away with what the Bears did, I think Zach Ertz for years is going to be really functional as a tight end. Austin Eckler out of the backfield, over 400 career receptions, along with Terry McLaurin and Jahan Dotson. They have a really good group of weapons. So to me, I think Washington is a little bit under the radar. I'm really intrigued to watch Jayden Daniels take the next step. He took a massive step up going from Arizona State to what we saw him do at LSU. So his football character is extremely high. And I just think the way they're going to play the games, manage the process, they're going to put him in a great position to be successful.
I think the problem with what Booger said, or what Greeny called him on Get Up, Mr. Booger, I don't think anybody ever wants to be called Mr. Booger, is that he sort of compared this season's number 1 and 2 picks to last season's. And it wasn't just what C.J. Stroud had the ability to do in Houston. It was what happened to Bryce Young.
Right.
Not being surrounded with a great situation, not having playmakers around him, not having the protection. And so you looked at both of those people and like the dichotomy between them, and it was such a vast difference. It actually made C.J. Stroud, who had a historic rookie year, look even better. And we start to have the question, is the number 2 overall pick, or should the number 2 overall pick been the number 1 overall pick? I don't think we have to have that sort of season. I don't believe it has to be either or. Why can't both of these dudes be really good? Why can't they both have extremely successful rookie seasons? And I believe that the teams have been built around them to do that, but I love the position that Caleb is in. But what happens when you get people who have sort of this above the X's and O talent is you start to try to put reins on them too early, right? And so that's what I feel like didn't happen to Patrick Mahomes. When Patrick Mahomes got an opportunity to play, he got an opportunity to play. He admitted himself, I didn't really know how to read defenses until halfway through my first season as a starter.
And threw for 5,000 yards.
So a lot of what he did was instinctive. A lot of what he did was God-given as he worked his way into being a true quarterback from the mental standpoint. That's what Shane Waldron will be tasked with doing with Caleb Williams. That's what Cliff Kingsbury will be tasked with doing for Jayden Daniels. And when those things fail, don't be afraid to let them do what the hell made you draft them. Yep. Why they are the last 2 Heisman winners. And I think so many times we get these kids and we go, yeah, you can't do that in the NFL. Well, the stuff they said that Aaron Rodgers couldn't do before the NFL, he did it. And now other people practice it. Now other people try to do it. Same with Patrick Mahomes. And I believe both of these players can have that effect.
And I think there's a very important but subtle nuance here. If you go back a year ago, DeMeco Ryans, defensive-minded head coach, and I go back to my days with Rex Ryan, defensive guy, with Mark Sanchez as a rookie. I was able to work for Bill Belichick, Bill Parcells, all defensive guys. And I do think by the end of the season, Caleb Williams and Jayden Daniels will be doing this because Dan Quinn, Matt Eberflus, also defensive guys. And I think how they approach the game and manage the game is like, hey, Caleb, like, let's just make first downs in September. You know, we don't have to throw for 4,000 yards from day one, despite these massive expectations, the city of Chicago on your shoulders. So I think these 2 head coaches in particular, Dan Quinn and Matt Eberflus, with defensive backgrounds. Look, C.J. Stroud would have been great in every situation, but let's credit DeMeco Ryans as well for how they approach the game. And not only was Stroud great, but what else I really liked was he got better, and I think it was the foundation and how he was managed was part of that.
See this in college, right? Him being able to play in structure on time at a high level. So I think him having that baseline when he gets to the National Football League or when he starts games this season, I think it's important. But I agree with you, though. We also got to let these guys be themselves because that's what makes these players so dynamic. But I think we've seen it from Jayden Daniels, though, being able to play in structure, play on time, play from the pocket on a consistent basis. We haven't seen that from Caleb Williams. That's why I think it's important for Shane Waldron to make sure he's able to do that. But, hell, when the play breaks down, go be you. Go be Heisman Trophy Caleb Williams. All the instinctive plays, all the highlights that we got from even when he was at Oklahoma to USC were plays that were instinctive in him using his God-given ability, talent. I don't think we should take that or they should take that away from him. But I do believe he has to have that baseline of structure.
I have a wide receiver question for you, though. Yep. How does someone like Keenan Allen, who understands how to win at the line of scrimmage, but is also a great third down wide receiver, help a young quarterback, though? You've been in locker rooms with guys like that.
I'll say, number one, when dealing with a young quarterback, and I went through this situation with Marcus Mariota, right? Veteran, a lot of veterans in the locker room. Mariota came in. If the pass isn't right there to you, so what? Make the play. Be accountable. Be available. Get open. Be encouraging to that young guy, because the last thing you want to do is that young player to lose his confidence, and then next thing you know, he's questioning what he's reading, what he's watching on the football field. So I think he's surrounded by good guys, and DJ Moore as well, right? He's a guy that you can literally throw a screen pass to, and he can go 80, but next thing you know, guess what? Caleb Williams and that confidence is up because that's an 80-yard touchdown for him. So that there are little ways for people like Keenan Allen to help out a young quarterback. That's another reason why they went and traded for him and got him. RC,
you made a good point earlier, too. It's DeAndre Swift's a really good running back. Yeah. So, like, to me, like, Caleb Williams can have bumps in the road, and they could win games. That's how you grow, and that's how you get confident, is you could develop and continue to win, and there's enough pieces in both Chicago and Washington they can do that.
That's the point, though. There's going to be bumps in the road.
Yep.
Right? Like
for both guys.
Yeah, you're not going to have this year that's seamless. Think about C.J. Stroud after the 3-interception game, and he said, look, Steph Curry don't stop shooting. Right? That's the sort of confidence that you have to have because of what you've done, because of the history of success that Caleb Williams had in high school, into college and winning the Heisman, and now being the number 1 overall draft pick. The same with Jayden Daniels. And the task is going to be, or the goal is going to be for these teams, have we built enough around them that when these bumps in the road occur, we have somebody to win the game?
Yep. That's
right. Somebody can make a play. Defensively, like we did down the stretch for Chicago, we can go make a play. Dan Quinn with this retooled defense and trying to find some pieces of offense, we could get the football out of his hand. Don't make these dudes feel like when they have a bad day, it's all on them. And I believe both teams, both Adam Peters and Ryan Poles, have tried to structure their organization in that manner.